Hey everybody, Jaden here, and today we have Luke from the UK. He's been selling on Amazon for the last 4 months now, and in these last 4 months, he's gotten to 11K in sales with the Amazon Success Academy. But before we dive into just all that, first off, just want to introduce you, Luke.
So my name's Luke, and I'm from the Liverpool in UK. And yeah, so I just started off about 4 months ago, basically. And well, to be fair, 4 months ago I wasn't doing anything at all. I mean, I wanted to be an Amazon seller, but I didn't really have any direction. So I was doing a bit of what I would have called product research back then, but really I was a little bit lost, and I was just wasting my time and my money.
For sure.
And that's when I started following you on Instagram, and I was enjoying your content. I was engaging with the posts and stuff, and then that's when you reached out to me, isn't it, via DM, and was saying how you can help me, stuff like that. So I was following the process with you, the onboarding process. I looked at the what they call testimonials from other people, and I could really see the value that you and the academy were providing. And we had a call, and it went well. And yeah, so I thought,
see, man,
you can probably help me, and you did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's how I started. Joined the academy, went from there.
For sure. And yeah, I just really want to touch on kind of like before the academy, like before you joined, kind of like where you were at, just so we could see like your full story, your full picture. And could you talk a little bit more about like what your life kind of looked like before working with us?
Okay. Oh yeah. So I still do, and but I purely back then all I did was my 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. So I worked as an accountant, and I was doing that, and on the evenings and weekends, I was looking into product research, but I was trying to look for the right private label product, or I spent a lot of time looking at Chinese wholesale as well, which now I know is really not a good idea with Amazon, mm-hmm. but that's mostly what I was up to then, yeah. Whereas now it's pretty similar, but it's just I'm doing the right things and I'm actually making progress with that time spent in the evening instead of just wasting hours and wasting money on useless subscriptions and stuff that actually I accomplished nothing with at all.
Makes sense. Okay, so you were working your 9 to 5. You were in this position. You were an accountant. Tell me a little bit why you wanted to get into Amazon, and like when did you start getting into Amazon, and describe like a little bit more of that journey.
So it was maybe around the New Year's time, but New Year's resolution and all of that. I want to make income with location freedom, okay, and ultimately build something which could be passive income, because I don't like the fact of being tied to one location, having to go into an office every day. It's not really me. So I knew I wanted to. I looked into the opportunity. There's all drop shipping. People do stocks, stuff like that, crypto, and I thought, no, Amazon selling suits me the best, and it suits my strengths, which is analyzing data, numbers, stuff like that. So there's lots of YouTube videos out there. So I kind of went down a little rabbit hole, and I kind of chose the wrong ones because I didn't understand that there were lots of different frameworks, business models to run on Amazon. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at running the wrong ones, basically, yeah. And I did that bit for months and got nothing. I just wasted a lot of money. I didn't buy a single product, order anything. I just kept on looking into stuff and finding reasons why it wouldn't work. And I'd never even heard of online arbitrage either until we spoke.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense. So you started getting into this business and doing research in January. How long did you spend just through that research process, trying to figure it out yourself, watching YouTube videos, just trying to find the right method?
So it was a good 4 months. I wasn't as consistent or into it for the first couple of months, but from say March to May, I was putting a lot of time in, 10 hours a week, but wasting my time, basically. I look back now, it's a bit frustrating, but it's led me to where I am today. So in the end, it worked out.
Makes sense. No, that's cool, man. That's awesome. So your whole goal of getting into Amazon was to be able to achieve location freedom, time freedom, stuff like that. You looked into it for 4 months. Now, after that 4 months, tell me what happened. How did you even hear about me?
So I'm not sure. You come up in my suggested things to follow, I think, because I was just looking at, I was engaging with other Amazon posts and things like that. I was watching them. Uh-huh. And so, yeah, you come up, and then your posts were very good. They were inspiring. They were quite helpful, some of them. And I was interested in your post. I probably commented under one, send me this video. Sounds like it'll help. Something like that.
Makes sense. Okay, so you commented on my video. You just saw me randomly like scrolling on Amazon, going through Amazon sellers on
I think you were
Instagram.
doing retail arbitrage at the time, and you were going in and going, look, I've sold all these products at a little markup on that. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. You know, that way.
That's cool, man. So like, okay, so you were following me. How long were you following me until you did when you just like reached out to me and we connected on Instagram through DMs?
Maybe 2 weeks, if that. It was pretty fast. I went through your whole page at one point, and you know, did my own kind of research or scouting you out, and I thought you were pretty serious, and that's why I actually, you know, reached forward via DMs. I've never done that to anyone. I've never been into like Instagram salesy people or whatever.
Yeah,
but I thought you were different. You stood out to me a little bit. I can't fully put my finger on why, but I don't know. You felt authentic.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So just like being like a genuine, authentic is what made you reach out.
Yeah, and I mean, you had your credentials. You know, you've done it all before, and you genuinely seem like, you know, you wanted to help people, and you were serious about what you're doing with a good product at the end of it. Especially once we started speaking via DM and getting onto the onboarding process, it would tell a lot more how in depth and serious it was than just a original glance from the Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, sweet. And how did you get to the point? Because I know you were researching Amazon for 4 months, watching YouTube videos. Seems like, I mean, you didn't make too much progress, but you were probably in the moment you thought you were making a lot of progress. What
at the time? Sorry, yeah, no, carry on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, what got you to that point where you decided to want my help?
Because I knew I was coming up short, and it was frustrating, and sometimes, you know, you need that extra guidance from someone else, and free resources only do so much. You know, if you want to learn, it's either like time or money, basically. And I didn't have the time to faff about on trial and error and waste it. So for me, it was money well spent.
Makes sense. So
and I never felt that it was time to do that, time to invest the money and do some serious. Like I say, in 4 months, I'd had this money ready, waiting to go into a business that I hadn't really been putting in because I didn't want to waste it. I was scared in a way that I was going to put it in the wrong thing and lose it all. So it's better to put a little bit into the guidance and then put the rest of it into the business itself. It was a smart decision.
Makes sense. Makes sense. No, I definitely agree with you. That's kind of what I've been following in my personal life, right? Like either you learn through time and making mistakes yourself, or you learn through just being able to learn from other people, right? And I feel like for other people with just what I've seen, and especially myself, when I first got started out in business, it's very hard to take that first step and to take that initiative into being able to learn from someone else. So like, could you kind of describe like, how did you get to the point where you researched for 4 months and you're like, yo, you know what? This is like, I'm done wasting my time here. Like, what made you pull that trigger to move into learning from the academy?
A lot of the people who put those free resources out there also, they kind of are almost like a freebie. You get a little bit, but you have to buy my package, and a lot of the good information was paywalled. So, and I knew that, so I kept coming up to that, and it was. But I don't know, something about me. I never wanted to buy into theirs. I don't know why. It didn't feel. It felt very much more salesman-y, if that makes sense. So I don't know.
Makes sense. Okay, sweet. That's cool. Sweet. So you got into the academy around like 4 months ago. Tell me a little bit about like the results you've seen, like just working with us.
I mean, the results have been great. I'm really happy with them. You know, when you say you can get 10K that fast, I was slightly skeptical. I'm not gonna lie, but it's really worked out well. Yeah, I've got almost 12K now, and it's built up. It was quite steady. It was like the first month was only 2 weeks of the month that I had, and that was like 2.5, or I think it was just under 2, and then it was like 4, and then it was 5, and that's with all the delays from the prep center as well. So, you know, this month I want to hit 6, 7, keep on going up until, you know, 10K a month is doable by the end of the year, I reckon.
Yeah, no, that's the goal, right? Yeah. Just getting you to that 10K per month. And kind of describe like, how did you get the results? Like, how much work did it take for you to actually see the results with Amazon and to?
It's one of them. It does. You have to learn it. So when you first start, you put in a lot more time. You know, you spend a few more hours analyzing things, and you know, my product research was slow. I started off on manual, and I didn't know what products to even bother to look at. So if I've had look through a sale, I would open 80-90% of them and cross-reference them, and it took hours and hours and hours. And now if I go through a sale, I'll know which couple to pick out to look at the data for. I'm not going to look at the data for the whole sale. Half it won't be on Amazon.
Yeah.
So now it's pretty fast, and the hours of work required is a lot less to have the same impact, which is great. And I'm at the point where I can reorder old stock, and that's so easy. It takes me 10 minutes because I put in the hours back then, and then I click on the same link I've saved, go buy it again, and it's really fast. So it starts off slow, but it definitely gets quicker. At first I'd say 15, 20 hours a week was needed to get it done with all the admin and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But then now I can probably do 5 or 10 hours and then spend all the money and I'm going, what can I do? I can put my spreadsheets together, but I'd just be twiddling my thumbs. So it's good. It gives me time to then get back into the gym and stuff now again. Yeah. As well. Now I'm a few months in, so it's good.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear you seeing those results pay off. The cool part about Amazon is, like, as you keep on moving forward, I know you've been doing it for 4 months now, but as you start doing it for 1-2 years, right, you really see that compound interest, or you see that compound interest of your time you're putting in, right? Because, like, as you said, you have these replenishable products now where, it may took you an hour to find 2 months ago, but you could consistently keep on reordering those. And that's something we've definitely built up on my business, is like 40% of our spend just comes from replens, right? So keep on building that up. That's going to help you just further grow your business moving forward. So that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. And I mean, what were you kind of worried about, like, when you first joined the academy?
What was I worried about? I mean, for me, still, the investment into the academy was a lot. Probably the most money I've ever spent on anything other than my house. So I was kind of worried that potentially I wouldn't get value for money because I wouldn't get the results, because I'm just a naturally skeptical person. Mm-hmm. So when someone promises something that's so good that it almost is too good to believe, that you can believe it to be true, you think, is it true? But it's been good. It has.
Makes sense. Okay, sweet. And I mean, obviously you do business, and with business you always have challenges, right? There's always going to be challenges that come up, things you have to overcome. I know you're based out of, like, the UK, so I mean, like, what are really, like, let's just say, like, 1-2 major challenges we had to solve when we were building your store up?
We probably had 3 big obstacles, I'd say, and the first one is being from the UK. Because just making payments I had an extra step on everyone else. So I'm forced to use a VPN, whereas if you're from the US, you're not. Some sites don't like VPNs. I've also got a UK billing address. So at first, a lot of payments were getting cancelled for me, and only half of my orders were going through. But, you provided the framework for how to get your orders accepted, using PayPal and all the methods, things like that. And I've tried a lot of them. And now, 90% of orders on sites go through, or more probably. And that's no longer an issue, because, again, of that framework that you provided, which was really helpful. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the issues, was being from the UK. And then another one was just, for me, first, with product research, because there are quite a lot of variables to consider. Yeah. There's a lot to get my head around. But, you've got the academy learning, teaches you all about that. So you can follow that. And then I'm there looking at my products. And if I'm unsure on it, I could send it to you, which was great, because you wouldn't even just go yes or no. You'd send me a video back on Loom. It's like a 3-minute video in depth. Here's the pros, here's the cons, here's ultimately what I would do in a situation. And, so that advice really helped me better understand product research, to the point where next time if a similar scenario comes up, I've already got your advice, so I've got confidence that I can make the right decision myself. And, I probably sent you, say, 5 to 10 products, and then after all them reviews, that's it now. I'm flying with that. So that's no longer an issue, but at first it was an issue for me.
For sure.
And then the biggest issue was the prep center. That wasn't your fault, but during the time where I'd started up, they were doing a warehouse upgrade, like a physical one, and then also a software upgrade simultaneously, which was a silly decision by them. And it caused also, a lot of issues with just how long inventory was taken to get sent out. Sometimes it was taking weeks. And, I was following up with them every day. I was emailing them. I wasn't really getting anywhere because I was a smaller client. But, you provided the support to the point where you were reading my emails for me and saying, here's how you should reword that and rewrite that. Here's how you should send it to them. Because actually I was being a bit too polite, if anything. You were like, no, you got to be meaner, you got to be more consistent. It's got to be 3 times a day if it's, past 3 weeks that you're waiting for your product, not 3 times a week or whatever. So you did really help me get, do as much as you could do. It's outside your control, but you didn't just go, oh, that's not my problem. I do appreciate that, how much you're actually there for me, helping me, things like that. It's been invaluable, so thanks.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad we were able to help you. And for you, like, obviously been in the academy 4 months now. What has been, like, what's provided you with the most value to get to where you're at right now? Like, support wise, is it like the one-on-one calls? Like you said, the Loom videos. What do you think helped you the most?
It's a combination of everything. There's so much to provide value, isn't it? Like I say, you get the one-on-one support with you. I would probably put that number one, because you know your stuff and you're very good and you are the biggest asset of the company. But then there's also all of the data that you just give us, the coursework, the learning to get through. There's the weekly calls, which are all recorded and you can watch. Even just the weekly accountability. I was always a person who could post on them, and they were really good for me. You set out your goal, you make sure you achieve your goal every week. I was there on a Thursday sometimes going, crap, I haven't spent this money that I've set as my goal. I'm going to have to make sure I'm on this now, stay up late and get it done. So yeah, there's so much value, and I probably couldn't pick a number one. It's a combination of everything.
Makes sense.
And again, with the people, there's the other people at the academy as well who you speak to, you can learn from them. I still speak to another member who's in the UK now. And, we talk a couple of times a week about things that specifically affect us and stuff like that. So he's someone I'll speak to for life probably. So that's also another one. There's too much to mention, isn't it?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about like your sales per week, per month. Like what are what type of revenue are you seeing per month now with Amazon?
So it last month was like 5.3, I think. And this month I want it to be a bit more than that. It's a bit up and down because of the issues with the prep center. So there'll be weeks where I'd only have 2 days of sales because there's not much inventory in Amazon. Mm-hmm. But now it's getting pretty consistent at about 1.5 a week, I'd say.
That's cool.
To 2.
That's cool.
Yeah. I think my highest week I got like 2.5 on 1 week, which was good. That was only like 2 weeks ago.
That's dope.
And then sold out all my stock. So the new shipments landed today. So should be a good week.
Yeah, the sales should be coming in, and I mean that's the issue with Amazon, right? It's just stuff sells so fast, you go out of stock, and you're not able to capture all those sales, right? So that makes sense. You mind showing us your sales that you've done, like year to date so far?
Yeah, I can get it up now. So I think it's like 11.4. See, that's the thing. I'm still waiting. I mean, I've had about 200 a day for the past few days, but I haven't had a sale yet today. Because I'm in the UK, I've noticed most sales come through while I'm in bed. I wake up in the morning and I've had the sales in overnight.
Yeah.
Because most people order in the evening time, but here we go, 11.49k.
Hey, there you go, man. There you go.
And you can see the bars going up every month, and they're going to continue to go up every month. It's going to be a nice little ladder like that.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, right? That's how it's supposed to be. So that's cool, man. That's cool. I mean, I know back in March, back in May, you were trying to research it by yourself, didn't really figure out how product research works. How do you feel now just about this whole business?
Oh, I'm so confident now. I feel great because I'm not taking the money out yet. I'm like saying, letting it compound and reinvest. But I know that this is an asset. I've got a skill for life and I've got an asset for life. That means even if worst comes to worst and you lose your job or whatever, you've got other security there, or I've got other security there, and it means I can quit my job soon as well. I know I have 100% faith that this is going to work. I've just got to keep doing what I'm doing and put the time in, which I'm more than happy to do. And that's it. I mean, it's peace of mind, isn't it? It's great. And you've got to be proud of something that you've built for yourself and you haven't spent your time with someone else. Like, yeah, this is something for me.
Yeah.
So it feels really good. There's so many benefits to it and positives. It's great.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I would agree with you in a sense, like skills is what equals security. Like a lot of people think like getting a job, you go into a 9 to 5 is really how you see security. But if you've learned and acquired skills, whether that be selling on Amazon, whether that be whatever, right? And you could provide those skills to the marketplace, or you know how to use those skills to create an income for yourself. That's really where security is built, because no one's going to take those skills you learned from yourself. Right. So that's really cool that you have that skill now and you're able to utilize that for your whole life now. And I mean,
Yeah.
like, tell me a little bit. I know, dude, you've been selling on Amazon for like a quarter, right? It hasn't been that long. What's the plan for the future?
I mean, so just a scale really, isn't it? So the next goal is 10K a month in sales.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that one, 10K a month in profit. And then from there, we'll be assessing what the long-term goal is. But yeah, they're the first two, and it's definitely achievable, really well more so than I thought at first.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So for you, it's just 10K in sales per month, and then eventually 10K per month in profit. And I definitely think you could get there, right? It's all about just reinvesting, compounding, spending more money, right? Because the more you put into inventory, the more you're going to be able to get out, and that's awesome. So for you, getting back to like right when you joined the academy, we were on that strategy session call. I was showing you what we had to offer, what the academy looks like. I mean, I know you said you were always hesitant about making big purchases or even like texting people on Instagram and stuff like that. What kicked you over the fence to join the academy?
No, I mean, like I say, I think it was my confidence in you and the product you were selling, especially when the call and you got out the academy and you showed the whole academy. I was really impressed with just how in depth it was and everything that was there. And then again, it was the one-on-one support provided and your confidence in your ability to get me there. Like say, you've got the guarantee, and that was peace of mind in a way. It's kind of like, yeah, I knew that you were going to do what you said you were going to do, which was get me there, and you did. So yeah, I wasn't wrong. I think, yeah, that was it. My gut instinct told me that you would genuinely make the difference, which you did. So
that's awesome, man.
That was it. Sometimes you can't physically put your mind on, like, they say people buy with emotion and justify it with logic, but my gut emotion was that you were going to help, and it was right.
Hey, that's good, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good, man. That's awesome. And would you recommend like others to work with us?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's an easy question. It's probably, I like to invest, got money in stock, stuff like that, but this is probably definitely the best investment I've made, so 100%. It could be scary, you're in that position where you don't know. Yeah, it's scary and you're on the edge, but you've got to take that step. If not, I'd still be researching products right now, which I'm probably never spent any money because I didn't take that plunge that I needed to take. So yeah, I would fully recommend it to anyone. Definitely. That's cool. Definitely. If you will put in the work, 100%.
And I mean, just getting a little bit more in depth on that. Obviously, there's a lot of different people out there, different types of avatars. Who would you like specifically recommend this to? Like, what type of person?
I mean, all that you need is diligence and a good work ethic. It's nothing too complicated. Like, it's not rocket science. And I genuinely believe that anyone with half a brain could pick it up. You just got to put the work in, and that's it. So if you've got 15 hours a week that you're prepared to, which everyone has got, unless you work on 2 jobs, you've got 15 hours and you're willing to put in the work. That's just all the criteria in my mind needs to meet it. It's hard working.
Yeah, no, I would agree.
And have the desire and the drive, but that's part of being hard working.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. That's why I'm so big on just like character traits, making sure that people we do get are the right fit and have those character traits to take action and work hard, right? Because with Amazon, it's not easy, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it, right? You have to stay consistent with it. You have to grind and put in those hours. But I mean, the good part is it's a really simple business model. Like, dude, I was doing this back when I was like 14, 13 years old, right? So I think anyone could pick it up as well. So I agree with you there. And obviously,
it's not getting disheartened by mistakes or when things go wrong. Because actually, I've had a lot of hurdles, like small, just fiddly little issues, which, if you could if little things got to you, then maybe it's not for you. But as long as you don't mind just dealing with the small stresses of, these are taking the piss with delivering my inventory, I've got to email them 5 times a day.
Exactly.
Then it's all right.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's with any business, right? You have to have a certain mindset. You can't let those little tiny things get to you. You got to keep on staying consistent, keep on pushing through, even when you don't see the results at first, right? Because that compounds over time, and you're seeing that with just the replenishable inventory you have and the skills you're learning now, and just like your product research, probably getting more efficient with that. So that makes sense. And obviously, people are going to be listening to this at home. why should they take action right now? I know, we're a big believer in taking action, being able to do it now, because if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. So why should people take action right now?
I mean, the biggest risk is not taking any risk. That's what I think is, if you're not going to take it now, I say, are you going to take it down the line? You're doing it now. There's no better time than the present to do something, because if you do it in a year, you'll just wish you had started it a year ago. Because again, with compound, the main thing about compounding is it takes time, and to get to say 7 figures, regardless, it's going to take 3 years or 2 years if you're really good. Mm-hmm. So why not start them 3 years now, and then in 3 years' time you're there, instead of holding on a little bit, pushing it off. That's part of what I was doing, kind of in a way, was maybe subconsciously delaying it for a few months, but I was nervous, and that's human nature. But when you do take that jump, all you think is, why didn't I do it sooner? I thought, why didn't I do this months ago? And I assume most people would be the same.
No, yeah, I would agree to you, man. I feel like taking that first step's the hardest in any business, any opportunity you get in, right? Just being able to take that leap of faith and just hope for the best, right? It's the hardest because it's so uncertain and you're not used to it. But once you put the first hours in, you put the first days in, first weeks, first month, right? It gets easier because you could get more consistent and you actually have a clear vision and clear path of what you're doing. So that makes sense to me. And for you right now, like, what would be like the number one piece of advice you could give to people interested in this business?
Is just go for it. That is if you're interested, is find what specific way you want to go, whether it is online arbitrage or wholesale or whatever. But I would wholeheartedly recommend online arbitrage. And so it's find what you want to do and just do it straight away. Don't faff about. I feel like I wasted months just researching, waiting for the perfect moment, which there never really is a perfect moment. You just got to do it and give it your all as well. You can't. It's not something that you can half-heart and think, I can just put 3 hours in here and there when I feel like it. Sometimes it will be like, okay, this needs to be done today. I'm going home to do this. But it's worth it. It's so worth it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yeah. I think the biggest thing you need, like the biggest piece of advice I could give to people watching this, kind of goes along the lines of what you're saying. It's just like being able to have the work ethic. I feel like if you really just have a work ethic and you know how to go on Chrome and look up products, right? You're going to be able to see results with this. It's just about taking that first step, taking that action, making your Amazon account, learning the frameworks of product research. Once you do those 2 things, obviously there's more that comes into place. You're going to be golden.
But yeah, take action. In a nutshell, that's the best advice. Take action.
Exactly. Sweet, man. Well, look, it's been a pleasure to have you on here. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you just for the people who are watching at home. So hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and have a good one, guys.